So this is something that I love to do when I'm really hype about something that I've never really talked about, and I actually get to make a video about it and get you guys hip to it or see what you guys think about something. I've been really into Gintama lately, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of backstory about me and Gintama. I've been trying to get into Gintama for a while. I would watch a little bit here or there, and it wasn't that I necessarily couldn't get into it. It's just kind of always one of those things where it's like, pick it up, watch a few episodes, and then I totally lose track of it, and then like years later I get back into it. But recently I've been more getting into like comedy and stuff like that, and that's definitely thanks to One Punch Man because of its mixture of action and comedy, the humor in that one. If you like something like One Punch Man because of its comedy, because of those type of elements, not the action and the animation and all that shit, if you like a lot of the comedy from that one, I think Gintama is something that you might be interested in. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Gintama is not for everyone. It just isn't. There's some people that they're hands down not going to like Gintama because of it being focused centrally around comedy. It really is a lot of comedy-based stuff. However, when it does hit you in the feels, it hits you in the feels. And ultimately, one of the things I like about Gintama is that it does tend to break the fourth wall, so to speak. It'll, like, address the readers or address the people watching or whatever. And that's something that I really enjoy because it does it very well. Like, I recently last night watched the latest Gintama movie. I think it's called The Final Chapter, Forever, something along the lines of that. That was fucking insane. And again, it started off with breaking the fourth wall and leading into the film. The characters in this one, the main ones are basically Gintoki, the main character, the dude with the silver whitish hair or whatever. Then you have Kagura, the girl with the red suit that she's basically like an alien. And then you have Shinpachi. He's like a human guy that knows, sword techniques or whatever, but he's nothing like on Gintoki's level. And one of the best things that it does as well is when it starts to dive into Gintoki's past, when we get to learn a little bit more about him. I love that shit. And I think Gintama, why I wanted to talk about it in this video, is basically, even if I could just get one person to become a fan of it, I would totally be happy, because it's just like, this is one of those things that has been underappreciated for years because of its comedy, because it's kind of like, in a sense, where, you know how One Piece anime starts off a little bit slow and it's hard to get into? Gintama's kind of like that as well, because the first two episodes are filler episodes, which they're pretty awesome filler episodes, but they're filler episodes, and for a while, a lot of it is comedy based. You'll get like a serious episode that kind of gives you a sneak peek into Gintoki's past, because if anything, Gintoki's past and his character is kind of reminiscent of the character from Rurouni Kenshin Himura. It's similar to that. It's kind of like he had a lot of fucking hardships back in the day, sword fighting and stuff like that, so now he kind of tries to leave that behind, but it just keeps coming back to haunt him and keeps catching up with him, and no matter what he does, the dude just can't catch a break. And I mean, it's just so many characters that are amazing. Like, this show is definitely character driven because it just has so many amazing funny characters. I mean, you got the Shinsengumi, Kondo, Hijikata. There's just so many fucking awesome characters in this one. And for example, I'll give you a brief idea of some of the comedy you'll get. Like, there's an episode where Gintoki is trying to get somebody to stop stalking his friend, so he's like, alright, we'll have a sword battle, but first I gotta use the bathroom. So dude leaves for hours on end, comes back and he's like, I'm ready, and he's like, let's have a fight, I'm gonna use a wooden sword, I'm not gonna use a real sword. So dude is like, that's honorable, I'll use a wooden sword as well. He's like, alright, cool, here, use mine. And then he has his friend throw him one, and as they clash, dude's sword fucking just snaps in half, because Gintoki trolled him and sawed down the wooden sword, so when he fucking swung it, it'll just crack in half, and he fucked him up and trolled him. But there's always a message behind the trolling most of the time with Gintama. It's kind of like, he did that, but it wasn't necessarily just because he wanted to troll him and stop him. It was also a lesson of like, we don't have to take it to a violent route. If we can avoid stuff like that at all costs, then do so. Even if it makes me look like a scumbag, like, it's supposed to be honorable, everybody's looking at it like, yo, Gintoki's an honorable dude, and he looks like an asshole in the end. He did it so that way he can resolve it without it being too violent or making a big stink out of shit. And I love that. I really love that Gintama has these little lessons behind all the trolling and all the insanity. And yeah, there's a lot of content. There's hundreds of episodes at this point. The anime returned yet again and is currently ongoing, and the manga's still ongoing. I believe the manga is entering its final arc and is going to finish in 2016. But Gintama, again, is not for everybody. If you really like comedy, and sometimes even the jokes go over my head because it's more Japanese-centric jokes than even like One Punch Man and stuff like that, but you can still really get into it. You can still have a great time. The characters are funny as hell, and when it does get serious, it gets fucking real. So give it a try. What you got to lose? Watch a couple episodes, see if you like it. I mean, again, if you like One Punch Man because of its comedy and you really just dig shit like that, you might get a kick out of it. I personally love the main character Gintoki because being older, it's a little bit different than when I was younger and I like, you know, obsessed over the main shonen of like battle series and stuff like that, which don't get me wrong, Gintama can be a battle series or whatever, but Gintoki is like, you know, he deals with a lot of life's problems and he tries to, you know, drown it away with reading Shonen Jump and shit like that. And that's kind of like me sometimes, so I can respect and appreciate that because he's older and he deals with problems from the perspective of a man already and not just from like a kid trying to understand the world. If you've seen Gintama, let me know what you think. What are some of your favorite moments? I personally love the shit out of the series. After watching the second movie last night, I can't stop fucking talking about it. I can't shut the fuck up about Gintama. Kagura's voice actor is fucking hilarious. I just love hearing her say Sataharu. And if you haven't, will you check it out again? What do you have to lose? Watch a couple episodes. Again, it might not be for you, but if it is, you might end up loving it and having hundreds upon hundreds of episodes to enjoy. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed anything about this video, make sure to drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, be forever Yorozuya.